Now for the original set pattern, the second phase, and through the compulsory dances, the leaders are the favorites, Christopher Dean and Jane Torvill of Great Britain. Second place, Natalia Bestemyanova and Andrei Bukin of the Soviet Union. And third place, the American medal hopefuls Judy Blumberg and Michael Siebert. You're going to be seeing a lot of ice dancing today, with the weather continuing to wreak havoc with outdoor events at these Olympic Games. Figure skating, and particularly for the moment, ice dancing takes center stage, and that is fitting, because one of the couples you'll see later today, the favorites for the gold medal here, Christopher Dean and Jane Torvill of Great Britain, have become, for the moment, the talk of Sarajevo. But the draw in this event is constructed in such a way that the first skaters we'll be seeing are the younger, less experienced skaters farther down in the standings at the moment, perhaps headed for international prominence later on. The first couple we'll see, Noriko Sato and Tadayuki Takahashi of Japan. They have competed in the last 4 World Championships, so they do have international experience. They are 2-time national champions in Japan and currently standing 16th here. These are the introductory steps. The dance now starts right here. There cannot be more than 7 preparatory steps. And then the pattern starts.
I think what we can see already, that when you're seeing this level of a competitor, they are skating much slower than what you're going to see later in the top competitors. But their steps are fairly difficult, not as difficult as the higher ranking competitor is.
Remember, all of the dancers must perform to music, which is the tempo of the Paso Doble.
And I think we'll certainly see a lot of variety of the Paso Doble today.
Well, for one thing, the tempo can be quite broad. Normally, a tempo would be considered to be either 2/4 or, in certain cases, 6/8. Any tempo or any measurement is acceptable in this dance, as long as the intent is the Paso Doble. That's why there's a fairly broad range of the tempi of the music.
Been wearing very interesting costumes throughout this championship. The other day during the compulsory dances, she wore a stunning white dress that just looked beautiful on her.
A reflection of the impact that the Japanese have made in the past few years in clothing design.
Oh, definitely. And watch their feet. They're not skating all that close together, and they do not extend too much with pointing the toes, and those finishing little touches is what makes a top competitor.
Figure skating is an amazing international communicator. The other evening in pairs competition, we saw a Soviet pair skating to Dixieland jazz music. It is, of course, just as interesting to watch Japanese skating to a Spanish rhythm. Noriko Sato and Tadayuki Takahashi of Japan. You know, it's really quite interesting to see the Japanese in this competition. In the 1930s, there was a great Japanese skater
prince of the royal family, who was a marvelous performer and a marvelous figure skater, and he did quite well at the Lake Placid Olympic Games in 1932.
We'll be back with more of the original set pattern right after this. And Takahashi of Japan, 4-3, 4-9, 4-5, 4-6, 4-6, 4-7, 4-4, 4-4, 4-4. Those marks will do little, if anything, to move them up in the standings. And they came into this phase of the competition in 16th place. And now the second set of marks for Sato and Takahashi of Japan. 4-4, 4-9, 4-5, 4-7, 4-7, 4-8, 4-5, 4-3, 4-3. Incidentally, across the top of that score barrier, you can see which nations are represented in the judging here today.
The coach of that couple, by the way, was Bobby Thompson of England. He also coaches Blumberg and Seberg.
And now this couple is Klára Engi and Attila Tóth of Hungary. She is only 17 years old. He is 19, so this is a broadening experience for them, and they come into this phase of the competition in 17th place.
And of course, they follow in the footsteps, or should I say the skating steps, of their countrymen, Christina Ragozzi and Andras Xiaolei, who were the 1980 World Dance Champions.
Already you can see the difference from the last couple that we just saw, that they're moving a little faster and the steps are handled a little quicker and a little more difficult.
Couple here again, you're seeing the personal expressiveness, the facial expressions and mannerisms, which are so much a part of the presentation in ice dancing.
And definitely their clothes are representing this style of the Paso Doble dance that they're doing.
Klára Engi and Attila Tóth of Hungary, only 17 and 19 years old, but clearly quite poised and quite aware of themselves already on the ice. Though they are well down in the standings in this competition, they are gaining a great deal of experience. Another look close up at the degree to which they have played to the audience through this original set pattern. And now here are the scores for Engi and Tóth of Hungary. First for the composition, the technical difficulty, 4-5, 4-7, 4-5, 4-4, 4-6, in that range all the way across. The next set of marks you see are for presentation, how well they express the music and the rhythm of the dance. 4-4, 4-6, 4-4, 4-7, 4-5, 4-7, 4-2, 4-6, 4-5. All of those marks from a possible perfect score of 6. Next skaters on the ice, and this will be interesting. Your first look at the skaters in this competition from the People's Republic of China. Remember that athletes from the People's Republic of China made their first Winter Olympic appearance at Lake Placid in 1980, but to my knowledge, Dick Button, this is the first we have seen of them in figure skating.
In the dance event, they did compete in figure skating in Lake Placid. This is their first appearance in ice dancing.
Okay, their names are Hongyan and Xiaolei Zhao. And they too are very young. He is 19 and she is 17. Thank you for correcting me, Dick. We're referring, of course, to ice dancing. This is the second phase of the competition, the original set pattern.
Really do remarkably well for being the first year that they have been in ice dancing, because their only exposure to ice skating is at the championships and maybe seeing things on television. I was in Red China about 2 years ago on a tour where we gave some exhibitions, and they were all so interested in learning every little thing that we had to offer, and they're wonderfully happy people. We enjoyed our stay.
And this is not an easy dance that they're performing. It's quite intricate with some of the moves like these that we're seeing across the end of the rink. And as they start the pattern again now, you can see that the moves are definitely not simple. Look at this.
Audience is applauding them as they go around this corner.
They were the winners of the Chinese National Championship in ice dancing in 1982. Their bios list no result for 1983, and I'm going to leap for the moment to the conclusion that in the People's Republic it is for now a biannual event. And Xiaolei Zhao, the People's Republic of China, in 19th place in the competition coming into this phase, and the crowd offers their appreciation for the learning experience that these two people are going through here. And now the marks for Zhao and Xi of China, 4-0, 4-0, 3-9, 4-3, 4-2, 4-0, 4-2, 4-1, 3-9. Those marks for composition. The second set coming up for presentation.
3-9,
3-8, 4-0, 4-4, 4-2, 3-9, 4-0, 3-9, 3-9. Decorum is such an important element of life in the People's Republic of China. You can see only the mildest of responses from them as they look at their marks. Next couple we will see, Wendy Sessions, 25 years old, Stephen Williams, 23 years old. They are from Birmingham, England. They are coached by Bobby Thompson, and they have been the number 3 British couple since 1980. As you can see, they are in 12th place after the original phase of the competition, the compulsory dances.
And you know, they come from a country with a long tradition of ice dancing. It's been since 1976 that we think of ice dancing as having been dominated by the Soviet dancers, Pakhomov and Gorshkov, and Lenichuk and Karponosov, and Moiseyeva and Menenkov. But in actuality, it's the British that over the years have dominated ice dancing, starting with the first international dance championship in 1951. Now, actually, before that, that was the first world championship, but there was an international championship in the year 1950, and that, believe it or not, was won for the first and only time by Americans. Michael McGeehan and Lois Waring McGeehan of Dartmouth, New Hampshire, won that international championship, and no Americans have won a world championship since that time. Remember, what we are watching is an exact pattern. If you could see it laid out in a rule book, it would be a series of steps, turns, choctaws, mohawks, etc., in one full, complete pattern around the ring. The skaters repeat that 3 times, and remember, each of them does their own pattern. That's why it's called the original set pattern dance.
They are also free to select any kind of music that relates the Paso Doble beat and feeling. So the costumes are relating to all this music too, and all of their tries at presenting this dance.
Despite the illustrious history that Dick Button mentioned of British couples in ice dance in the 2 previous Olympic competitions, British couples have not won a medal. That pattern should be erased this year. We will be seeing Jane Torvill and Christopher Dean as well as the other top skaters in the competition later today. Wendy Sessions and Stephen Williams of Great Britain. They were in 12th place coming into this phase of the competition. Now here are the marks for composition for Sessions and Williams. 5-2, 4-8, 5-0, 5-1, 5-2, 5-1, 5-1, 4-9, 4-7. You can see reflected there the progression which we're seeing from the less experienced and less accomplished couples up through those with a little bit more experience in international competition, as this pair, or this couple I should say, has. Second set for presentation, 5-2, 4-9, 5-0, 5-1, 5-3, 5-2, 4-9, 5-0, 4-8 from the American judge.
Remember that the Paso Doble is really the music by which the matadors marched into the arena. It is not the bullfight itself, but the matadors and their retinue as they walk into the arena.
moves are very sharp, very precise. You can see a big difference in this couple. They're moving across the ice with some speed.
This is the #2 Canadian couple, has been for the past 2 years. The #1 Canadian couple, whom you'll be seeing later, Tracy Wilson and Robert McCall.
Quite a powerful dance.
Yes.
A very strong one.
That's a difficult move there. Sliding around on your knees.
Been skating together for 2 years. They teamed up in spring of 1982. That's a relatively short time to develop the synchronization, I should say, necessary for success in this sport.
Now, you see, that can happen in ice dancing, and it's a far greater sin than it is in almost any of the other events, because it disrupts the pattern, and it's a complete breakout of the mood of the dance. And when it happens in ice dancing, it is far more serious, I think, than it is in, for example, solo
this
skating.
is equivalent to the short program in the singles skating, and when you fall on an element like that, it is very serious. This is a difficult move. Sliding around on her knees, stepping over her.
Look, right there, right there.
He just tripped. He was too far back. He was not flowing with her.
Now, here are the marks for Kelly Johnson and John Thomas of Canada. You saw the fall, which marred their program. Composition marks 5-2, 5-0, 4-7, 5-1, 4-2 from the Japanese judge.
Obviously, I think the Japanese judge has probably concluded the fact that that fall was extremely serious. Actually, I'm not sure why it should be, but because it is only 1 second out of the entire series, but the judges in ice dancing treat that very seriously.
Well, should it be reflected in the composition marks or more seriously in the presentation marks, Dick? Here are the presentation marks: 4-8, 4-8, 4-6, 5-2, 4-5, 5-0, 5-1, 5-3, 4-6. Can it show?
Obviously, they have let it take effect in the presentation. A fall, if it's the fault of the skater and disrupts the flow and the pattern of the dance, is deducted. The marks are deducted from presentation. Certainly, it was not should not be deducted from technical merit in this case, because it did not affect the construction of the dance itself.
Now, this couple is Isabella Micheli and Roberto Pelizzola of Italy. She's 21, he's 25, and they have been the national champions in Italy in each of the past 3 years. Been as high as 8th in the European Championships, and they competed in the World Championships a year ago.
Now, frankly, I don't think this dance couple is quite as good. This may be my personal opinion, but I don't find her stretching her legs in any way or having a stylized approach to this dance. It looks to me relatively sloppy.
Mm-hmm. I agree. They're not skating close together. They're not skating as one, and that's what ice dancing is meant to do, is to have the skaters skate as one and have that same line. They don't seem to be doing it.
Is the best indicator to watch the feet?
Not necessarily. I think watching the feet helps, but watching, you know, the whole unit out there and how they feel and interpret the music. It all has its effects.
She looks as though she's almost not skating, as though she's stepping from step to step. We don't see any of the deep edging here that the better ice dancers have.
Judges are advised throughout ice dancing to look for timing, carriage, flow, unison, deep edges, and the character of the dance. This couple was in 15th place coming into this phase of the competition. Isabella Micheli and Roberto Pelizzola of Italy. You see the marks for Micheli and Pelizzola of Italy. And you first set of marks.
And you can see they're not very good. They just don't represent really a very high standard of skating. Now, that's the technical merit. That's the quality of the pattern that show. The difficulty of the steps, the quality of the dance itself. For the composition of that dance, the way it was laid out. These marks coming up now are for the manner in which that they skated. And again, you can see they're not very strong.
Particularly the American judge, Dick, who gave them a 4-4 and a 4-2.
Well, I guess the American judge and I think alike.
Well, I think that your influence in the sport is manifest, to say the least. The next couple, Nathalie Hervé and Pierre Béchou of France. She is 20, he is 24, and they are the two-time French national champions. In this competition, they are in 13th place.
She really gets into this dance with her facial expressions. It's wonderful.
What's very hard in these dances is to get the feeling of the essence of the Matador's march, and that's what's so hard. These steps right here are not too easy to do well.
No, you can get off balance very easily.
She did.
You know, this is just a layman's opinion. It is one thing to be naturally expressive within the context of the dance. Miss Hervé appears to me to have been advised to be very expressive. And she's trying.
Okay, coming up is that move.
Here it
that
is.
She does the swirl.
Yep. There's the one in the opposite direction.
She did that pretty well.
She sort of looks like a marvelous, as though she's having a marvelous time doing this, you know? It's sort of like at the local dance, the country club, everybody gets out and does first the jitterbug and then the waltz and then something else. And
But overall, I don't think this dance looks very difficult compared to the top people.
there we go.
Nathalie, Hervé, and Pierre Béchu of France, 13th place coming into this phase, and we'll be back with their marks. Scores for the composition of the program of Hervé and Béchu of France, 5-1, 5-0, 4-8, 5-0, 5-0, 5-1, 4-7, 4-8, 4-6 from the American judge.
And once again, you can see that they're not particularly outstanding. I think that what happens is that many of the dancers are all kind of bunched together, and then at a certain point in the competition, a quantum leap forward is taken, and that's when it becomes very important.
And you will be taking that quantum leap with us later today when we see the top contenders in the ice dancing competition. We saw the scores for presentation, and they will do little to help the cause of Hervé and Béchu, who will remain in the standings about where they were. And now our first look at an American couple. This is the up-and-coming young couple in American ice dancing. 20-year-old Lisa Spitz from Short Hills, New Jersey. 24-year-old Scott Gregory from Syracuse, New York. They train under the very influential Ron Ludington in Wilmington, Delaware. Second at the Nationals a year ago, third this year. And having a great experience here at the Olympic Games, they are in 10th place coming into this phase of the competition.
Right away, you can get the feeling that they are good. Very sharp moves, very confident, a lot of flowing over the ice. They're
as they pass directly in front of the judges. They seem to be skating with some confidence.
They are certainly, in my opinion, the epitome of young American athletes. They're fresh and outstanding and wonderful.
And I think they're having a wonderful time here at the Olympics.
I think she's terrific. Her mother's a former Eastern dance champion who used to pull her daughter around the rink by her ponytail. She's been on the ice all her life. They are the respective roommates, incidentally, of Peter and Kitty Carruthers, the American pair, who are currently tied for second place as they head into the free skating portion of the pair's figure skating competition.
You see how treacherous ice dancing is? Blumberg and Siebert have taken spills and had stumbles in many instances. The skaters are moving together so closely and so precisely that the skates can clip and hit each other without this, just on the slightest of reasonings.
I think in ice dancing, the concentration, because every step counts.
Spitz and Gregory of the USA.
And that, unfortunately, I suspect will mar their impression in the judge's eyes.
Yes, I think so.
It's that's unfortunate because they were doing quite well, and they moved too closely.
Let's take another look at the moment when their skates met.
You can see right coming up here, right
there. He hit her skate,
or she had her skate where he was going.
Right.
However you want to call it.
Whoever you talk to, right?
That's
right.
Almost tumbled. Scott Gregory's strength kept them up. Ready now for the scores for Lisa Spitz and Scott Gregory of the United States. For composition, 5-3, 5-2, 5-0 from the West German judge and the British judge. And so on along the line, 5-2, 5-2, 5-1, 5-0, 5-2. Close-up look at Lisa, and there's Scott. And the next set of marks are for presentation. Remember, they were in 10th place in the competition coming into this phase. 5-1, 5-1, 4-9, 5-2, 5-1. 5-2, 5-1, 5-2, and 5-1 for Spitz and Gregory. The original set pattern phase of the competition, a chance to look at some of the couples whose primary thrill here will be simply that of having competed in the Olympic Games. The standings coming into this phase of the competition show the leaders, the gold medal favorites, Torvill Dean of Great Britain, second place, Bestiamanova and Buchan of the Soviet Union, and third place, the Americans, Judy Blumberg and Michael Siebert. Now, you'll also recall that the standings were precisely that way after 2 of the 3 compulsory dances, and then in the 3rd compulsory dance, a historic occasion as Jane Torvill and Christopher Dean of Great Britain were awarded for their Westminster Waltz the first 3 scores of perfect 6 ever given in international competition for a compulsory dance. Dick Button and Peggy Fleming, we're going to take one more opportunity now to look back at that Westminster Waltz.
Remember that the Westminster Waltz is a dance of stately carriage. There are deep knee bends, but not a lot of sharp bouncing up and down. It's very much an elegant dance, and I think they performed it to the fullest limit.
Well, they're wonderful to watch. This is an unusual couple where the male is a very important part of this team. Look at the arch in his back, and their unison of leg line is superb.
You can see the huge lobes and the great sweeping moves as they move around the pattern, the exact pattern that, as it is laid out in the rule book, which is why it's called a compulsory dance. There is no alternative to them skating any other kinds of steps. It's the specific steps laid forth in the rule book. Here, these turns. Now watch them do a double turn right here facing each other. Swing, step, turn, and swing. Very pleasant to watch.
They're so calm in their upper body, and their feet are doing all the intricate steps. And I mean, this is what makes them so good. Look at that unison and that calm and just skating as one.
Her turn and watch him pull her right in front of him, pass off to the end of the dance. And that, of course, is the end of the pattern, as it completes the 3 full patterns that they have to perform.
It's the 3rd straight day of near blizzard conditions up here on the Igman Plateau, but even though they occasionally preempt alpine...
Behind Blumberg and Siebert, veteran skaters. She is 27, he is 26. Both are from the state of Michigan. They train in Wilmington, Delaware.
And they are in 6th place at this point, which is a very good position. This is a tough world, this ice dancing world.
They're rather theatrical in their presentation of this dance, almost acting out a part.
Right here, look at the sharpness, the straight up and down, the preciseness of these turns, the very quickness of them. That's good ice dancing right there.
Well, they definitely look like a team. They're just flowing together, the lines of the legs and the arms. Everything is in unison.
These progressive steps across the end of the rink. Now the turns. Watch him turn. That's called... These are rough steps. They are not easy to do. These double turns, one against the other. Very, very hard.
But the funny thing later, when we see more of these kinds of skaters, the easier it is going to look and the more difficult steps we're going to see.
Look at these steps as you're seeing them right here. How easy it is for them to hit their feet, to get out of step, to get out of balance just slightly. And the difficult thing is maintaining the concentration through the entire 3 repeat patterns of the dance. That's where it gets tough. The character of the dance is not only in their face and or the steps, but also in the whole line of the body. The whole line is repeating the character. That's why I think they're so good.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, really, very nice, very nice. I think she has a particularly good quality that is a very effervescent and sharp and clean kind of quality. She's quite marvelous.
First set of marks you see are for the composition of the program, how difficult it was. 5-5, 5-3, 5-4, 5-4. 5-4, 5-4, 5-5, 5-5, 5-4, and 5-5. Very consistent all the way across. Good shot of Carol Fox. 27 from Westland, Michigan. And now the second set of marks are for presentation. How well did they express the music and the rhythm of the dance? 5-3, 5-4, 5-5, 5-4, 5-4, 5-6 from the Czechoslovakian judge, 5-5, 5-4, and 5-5. Ready now for Olga Volozhinskaya and Alexander Svinin, 21 and 25 years old from Moscow. Second in the Soviet Nationals last year. Second in the European Championships last year, but a few weeks ago, they slipped to 5th in the European Championships. And in this competition, they are in 8th place.
You have to watch her feet. She's had a lot of dance training, and she's just a fabulous performer.
Many of the Russian women have been extraordinary performers. Irina Moiseeva, Pakamova in 1976. All Gorshkov did was present her and follow her around, and she just flared like a fireworks. It was incredible. The Russian dancers, the ladies in particular, have extraordinary theatrical sharpness.
Most of the girls have also been very tall. She's 5'7", which is very tall for a skater, and he is 6 feet tall. nice line.
There's a great deal of kind of expressiveness in this dance. It's not extraordinarily in the line of a Spanish matador's kind of quality. It has, in fact, rather almost swelling and flowing kind of waltz-like feel to it through this part.
Look at her hands. She's so expressive with them.
She follows also in the tradition of Bestemianova with the very, very fast, quick moves that she does.
Very Russian.
Very, very, very expressive moves.
Volozhinskaya and Spinin of the Soviet Union. This couple earned a 4th place finish in the World Championships a year ago. They are only in 8th place coming into this phase of the competition, so they may have felt that they had not yet skated up to their level.
Okay, let's take a look at their expressions. Look at her hands, her face, just extending. It's wonderful.
There she is with Tchaikovskaya. We just saw walking right into the screen one of the great Russian teachers who's taught almost everybody for a long period of time in the Soviet Union.
First set of marks range from 5-4 down to 5-0. And again, as we saw earlier in the day, the American judge is at the low end of the scale. Saw that on some couples.
We see quite a wide range here. You know, a half a point like that from almost half a point from 5-4 to 5-0 is not unusual, but it is a wide range, and I think that's because it's very, very hard to pin down exactly the way these skaters fall. Look at this. This is much closer, 5-1 to 5-4.
Well, to 5-5 to the Czechoslovakian judge. So again, there is a 0.4 of a point range among those scores, as you see Volozhinskaya and Spinin signing autographs for their fans here in Yugoslavia. Cream at the top of the barrel. This couple is in 2nd place. The standings to this moment, Natalia Bestemianova and Andrei Bukin of the Soviet Union. She is 24, he is 26. They were 2nd in the World Championships behind Torvill Dean a year ago, 2nd in the European Championships behind Torvill Dean just a few weeks ago.
Their placement in this competition here as the first of the 3 top skaters is clearly to the benefit of Judy Blumberg and Michael Siebert, who have yet to perform. Now you can get a flavor of this couple's dancing by watching the lady, Natalia Bestemianova, frenetic, almost sometimes hysterical in the way she piles movement on top of movement.
She's wonderful. She's very dramatic, and she expresses total commitment to each number that she does. designed that move directly at the judges. They looked them right in the eye.
You know, again, the moves really aren't traditional kinds of matador kind of dance steps. But what they are is incredibly fast and picky and pointy and head movements that are really quite exceptional.
Look at them, look at the judges here.
That's
the judges are all right there. Very together in their moves. I'm very confident. You never get the feeling that they're going to trip.
I also like the choice of music that they've used for this. And of course, it's right here in this original set pattern dance that Judy Blumberg and Michael Siebert will have to make a move forward if they're going to hope to pull ahead of Bestemianova and Bukin for a silver medal. And this, of course, is the little coda at the end.
Oh.
And it's just not enough for her to stop and take a bow. She's really got to do a number.
Natalia Bestemianova and Andrei Bukin of the Soviet Union. There is one thing, as you suggested, for which their programs are noted. It is dramatic energy, and I think we saw it there.
Really quite an elegant and rapidly progressive kind of dance.
Yes, the
really
audience
quite
is
a statement.
The audience is really responding.
Look at the turning quality right here. Here, I almost think
like
he's hitting her. Yeah, bong, and she hits him back.
She got him back, though, Dixon.
Yes,
That's okay.
indeed. Very effective, very festive dance. And here there are marks coming up now. You can see
5-8.
3 5/8 from the first three judges, and then 3 5/8 again from Japan and Italy.
5-4 from the British judge.
That's the
6 5/8. That may make it very difficult for Judy and Michael. We'll look to see what the marks are like for presentation.
Very, very strong marks. And that's Courtney Jones, the great British dancer.
The man who awarded them a 5-4, in contrast to the other marks which were so high. And now for the second set of marks, very high, and obviously he was more pleased with their presentation than with their competition. 5-7 through 5-9, the range there. And now, here they are. You have heard so much about them. If you did not see the compulsory dances, we will remind you again. Jane Torvill is 26, Christopher Dean is 25. They live in Nottingham, England. She is known as the emotional, stable anchor of this pair, or couple, as you would say. He is the driving, creative force.
The purpose of this dance is that she is become his cape. She is the cape, not the bull, nothing else, but draped around his neck as he marches through the dance of the matadors.
Costume reflects exactly what she is to be. They've been rehearsing in outfits that are just like this so that the judges are getting that impression from the practice sessions all week here.
See him, every move is as though he is pulling the cape in and around him and about him. Look at it.
She looked like she almost slipped on that.
Very, very tough move to do. And hear the progression in the music, the continuation of it, the rise of it. Over. Her hand, the way it comes down,
yes,
gives you the impression, but it's been the same all 3 times.
Yes, it certainly has.
And there. Now watch this final. As he throws the cape to the ground. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Wonderful, really so effective. Every move in there, every move in that dance epitomized exactly what their relationship was. She is the cape to his performance. The dance was not overdone, it was not frenetic, it was not hysterical, it was not underdone, it was, in my book, perfect.
And to make it complete, they return to precisely the position in which they began and leave the ice. These days in Sarajevo, you do not go anywhere without hearing a whisper of them.
Now, look at this drop here. Now watch her step on the side of the foot and go over. And down to the side.
I think that was intentional.
Yes, every time that they've done that, that's the way that dance is turned over.
Yes.
And here are the marks for the dance. Again, there's a judge number 1, the Hungarian.
1-6, the rest 5 9s. Yes, at the European Championships a few weeks ago, they received 6 6s, and here they have gotten 6s again for presentation. 3 of them, 6 5-9s and 3 6s, as again, some of the judges find sheer perfection in the performance of Torvill and Dean. The Americans, third coming into this phase of the competition, Judy Blumberg and Michael Siebert. She from Tarzana, California, he from Washington, Pennsylvania, both now live in New York City.
We've chosen the music of Carmen. Beautiful preparation, beautiful entrance to this dance. Look at the different quality in this dance. Sweeping knee movements, deep bends. Not the sharp, angular, normal movement of a matador. Instead, something quite lilting and quite different.
This is what Michael and Judy are known for. This is their style, and they do this so well. They have a look on their face of sheer concentration.
We remind you, Michael Siebert has been nursing a small groin injury, the extent of which we don't know for sure. So there is some suspense.
He told me earlier that yes, it hurt, but not enough to stop him from doing every dance and every step that he had planned.
And I think if it's going to hurt him, it will be probably later on in the free dance. They have some difficult moves that will stretch that muscle, but he's been, not doing it in practices, so he's been sort of holding that off for the final performance on Tuesday night.
They must maintain their concentration. It's through this portion of the dance that so many mistakes have occurred. Exiting steps as he carries the cape off the ice. Very, very interesting,
different.
don't you think? Yes, yes.
I hope that move didn't hurt his muscle. Going
legs
down on
are
the
out.
feet like
Amount
that.
of strain there, wasn't it?
Judy Blumberg and Michael Siebert of the United States. A largely American crowd here on its feet. Now we await the scores. Remember that Bestemianova and Bukin of the Soviet Union received a first set of marks which ranged from 5.4 up to 5.8. That is the couple which Judy and Michael are now chasing to try to gain second place. Here they are, 5.6, 5.6, 5.7, 5.5, 5.7, 5.6, 5.7, 5.7, 5.7. Very consistent, perhaps not quite as high as the ones awarded to Bestemianova and Bukin. Presentation. The next set of marks. Bestemianova and Bukin received scores ranging from 5.7 up to 5.9. Judy and Michael, 5.6, 5.6, 5.7, 5.9, 5.8, 5.6, 5.3 from the Canadian judge. 5.8 from the American judge. Now on the ice, the couple in fourth place, Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko of the Soviet Union. This is a young and rising Soviet couple. Ponomarenko is an experienced skater. He is 23 years old. Marina Klimova of Moscow is only 17.
The typical Russian style, quick moves, very sharp.
Very much in the style of Bestemianova, don't you think?
Yes. Even the style of the dress, sticking out the little skirt. She almost tripped on that.
I find this kind of constant hit kind of routine to be somewhat frenetic and somewhat overpowering by the time they've repeated the dance 3 or 4 times. Am I wrong?
Well, I think it takes a lot of concentration to do that many steps in the short amount of time that they have, going around the ice 3 times.
Isn't
she cute? To be 17 and have that maturity and that polish that she has is wonderful.
I like that move there where it stretches back. There it is. Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko. Very pretty, isn't she? Didn't she have marvelous theatrical quality there? You just see her coming out from behind the gold curtain at the Opera House.
Right. Watch this expression. She is just wonderful. She really sells this team.
Doesn't she? That's a very difficult move that she's doing. There are their marks.
Her height reminds you of the other Soviet skater whom we saw earlier, Olga Bolovzhinskaya. Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko, and there are the scores for composition: 5-5, 5-7, 5-7, 5-3 from the British judge, 5-7, 5-7, 5-8, 5-4, and 5-5. And now the marks for presentation. The presentation that the two of you are so fond of. 5-7, 5-8, 5-8, very high. 5-4, 5-7, 5-6, 5-7, 5-5, and 5-6. And now, with all the skating completed in the original set pattern phase of the competition, the standings show Torvill and Dean of Great Britain still in the lead ahead of Bestiamanova and Buchan of the Soviet Union. Blumberg and Siebert of the United States in 3rd place. Box and Daly of the United States remain in 6th place, and another American couple, Lisa Spitz and Scott Gregory, are currently in 10th place.
In Australia, we have